talk to me a little bit about the socialization of football and the culture of football. You have one of the most like beautiful and eloquent ways of breaking down the dynamics of football that I ever heard. I heard you said, listen, any other profession in the world, if your superior or manager talks to you the way that a coach or anybody does on the football field or in the culture of football, you can report that person to HR.
Mhm.
In football, there is none of that. The NFL, there is none of that. And you would say, tell your coach like, "Yo, I do whatever you need me to do, my dude, but just like don't yell at me, don't talk to me crazy and all of that." Um,
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that because I think that's super powerful to hear and super valuable to hear. Because again, man, I can't. I'm from Ohio. I'm from the Midwest. Football is damn near everything here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like me and my granddad, we got on the phone last week and we mourned and talked about the Browns for a good 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the now that I'm a grown man, I have a child, a wife, and I just my worldview is different and it's constantly evolving. Man, dog, I have such a love and hate relationship with the culture of football, especially especially as a especially as a black man. So
Mhm.
just talk to me a little bit about just like the socialization of football and just from your perspective.
Yeah. And so my opinion on this is I think that uh the culture of football uh it it comes from bad race relations in America and uh really toxic masculinity. I know that's a
Mm-hmm.
trigger word for some people, but that's what it is. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are like, "Oh, you need that tough male father figure." And like, dog, there's so many examples out there of how to talk. Like, I remember, I think it is. Yeah, I saw it from like ESPN or someone on Instagram where there was this karate class, and there was like this kid who was
I'm
like
gonna talk about.
crying.
Yep. I'm gonna.
Yeah, so like there's this
Yeah.
kid that was he was like crying, and like there was this mentor that was like, "Yo,
Yep.
it's okay to cry. That's all
Jason,
right.
Jason
That's
Jason
okay."
Wilson is his name. Jason Wilson is his
That's
name.
what that's dope.
Yeah.
And so there's a man who saw a young brother who was emotionally distraught, and he invited that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge, like that was huge. I never saw nothing like that growing up.
Right. Right.
And the football culture is suck that shit up,
Mm-hmm.
quit crying. Like, I'm not saying every situation is alike, and some and like pushing through pain, there's not value in that. And that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is football has a culture that's very toxic. Football has a culture that's very hierarchical in the sense that it's um, you do what I say, you
Mm-hmm.
don't question it,
Right.
right? And that's where the toxicity comes from.
Yep.
And it gives coaches a sense of superiority, and it gives players a sense of superiority, and it's just emotionally unhealthy all the way across the board. Um, uh, and it carries on from Pee Wee to the professional ranks. In the professional ranks, it's not as bad because when they paying you a certain amount of money, you can't talk to everybody like that, and they know that. Um, but the lowly cats, like I was a lowly, I was undrafted. They talk to you however they want to. It don't matter, and it's infuriating. You got to take that shit or else they'll cut you. And it's infuriating. It's degrading. It's humiliating. But you got to take that shit. Um, and it makes people bitter. It makes people sour. It changes people, man. And I think that's the biggest thing is um, it's just a whole bunch of egotistical men trying to do what they feel is the best thing at that moment, and that's usually not the case. It's rare that that is the best option. Is to be is to yell at people and scream at people and yada yada yada. It's like, if you can't communicate your thoughts, like that's what we deem emotionally unhealthy. Ask any therapist. Like it's not the case. Like I had coaches who never screamed once. Them were my favorite coaches. Like, you don't gotta yell at me, dog. But the ones that was yelling and cussing, like usually them niggas either didn't play a lot or them niggas just have ego issues or they got some family issues at home or something else is wrong.
Right.
But yeah, just the culture in general is toxic, and it doesn't just stop at the field, man. It goes all the way up to the GMs. It goes to the NCAA, to the all of that shit. It's the same thing. It's like you view the product as disposable, and so when you're at the meeting, when you're at when you're in the meeting room to negotiate contracts, to negotiate player unions for NCAA, you're more
Absolutely.
likely to not view them as human beings
Yep.
or just cogs in the wheel
Yep.
rather than human beings who are providing a product that is valuable to the American society and therefore needs to be compensated. It just gives people more leverage in those dealings. And that to me, that's the broader issue that they don't want to talk about. And it's the reason why, if you look at how the NBA brands their players, it's entirely different to the way NFL brands their players.
Yes.
NFL brands organizations,
The shield.
right? NBA brands players because they get it. They're socially conscious. They have Black Lives Matter on a courts because they get it. NFL don't get it.
Yeah. The
Over half
NFL.
all the owners, almost all the owners donated to Trump's campaign.
Not only does the NFL not get it, they are consciously and unconsciously ignorant. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's because it's the ownership. The ownership, like the Houston Texans, when that whole kneeling shit was going down, they had a meeting and said, "Yo, none of y'all kneel." I wasn't there, luckily, or else I'd have said, "Kiss my ass."
Mm-hmm.
And this is crazy. Like we had a ownership in Miami when I knelt with Cap, who word got around. I was like, "Yo, I'm kneeling. Like y'all do what y'all got to do, but I'm kneeling." And we had long team talks about it and shit. But he came to me, and I thought we was gonna bump heads. But he came to me like, "Yo, I respect what you're doing." He said, "That's what's up." And I was like, "Oh, that's dope." And I knelt, and then I ended up retiring that season. But the next season, he was like, "Yo, y'all can't kneel." And so it's like the issue with the NFL is the issue with America, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
This is a capitalistic society, and if it's not turning a profit, we devalue it. It's all about profit here. And so that's what the NFL is beholden to. NBA realizes that the value is in the players and that the value is in the social fabric of America. And they're tapped into that. Where the NFL is like, however this needle is moving, that's where we going. Oh, it's Black Lives is cool now? All right, bet. Let me put out this Martin Luther King quote. Rather than having a fucking backbone when Cap knelt, right? Or having a fucking backbone NFLPA when it comes to giving lifelong health insurance to your players that built this fucking thing.
Right.
They still don't do that. And so it's like they're all about reactive. They're reactionary. They're never proactive because they don't stand for anything. All they stand for is the profit. If it's losing money, fuck that shit. Cut it off.
Do you think as a collective, do you think the players will ever, not ever, that's too strong of a word, but do you think that the players can unify in a way to like utilize their leverage?
It'll take.
And if so, what would it take?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
The stars?
Yeah. But it would take sacrifice. It would take actual, we're not playing this Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's hard because you got cats.
Financial sacrifice. I get it.
Yeah, you got cats who like, okay, like let's say Deshaun Watson, he ain't gonna worry about missed game check, right? It ain't gonna affect his pockets. But Buddy, who's 53rd or 52nd on the roster,
correct,
he gonna feel that. He gonna feel that shit.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take sacrifice, and I don't know if we're in that space anymore as a society. We're comfortable, and so it'll take actual sacrifice. And I don't know if we're there anymore. It's just like the NCAA. What would it take to get these cats paid? In my opinion, it'll take the national championship. Them cats just sitting on the field and not playing. We're not playing.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's a lot to ask from them though. Like I don't shun cats like that though, because it's like you have an entity that's holding your future in their hands, or the leverage of your future in your hands, and you're asking them to make a political, social stance that they're fucking 18, 19, 20 years old. They don't really fully understand, and they're like, nigga, I'm trying to get out of this situation.
They're trying to get to the league, man. They're trying to survive.
Yeah, that's why I don't really knock college cats for not taking any stances, but it's on the older cats. This is what pisses me off about older cats, man. I remember when it was like 2013, 14, when I came out with, I was in that documentary called School, The Price of Sports, and they was talking about getting money under the table. And I said, like, yeah, I got money under the table. And it was like this big, like they threw Tennessee into a investigation and shit. I remember they called me They was like, we're conducting an investigation. Saying hopefully it'll be helpful. I'm like, nah, man, but good luck. I hung up because it was all cash. They couldn't track that shit. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but a lot of cats came out. I was like, man, why would you fucking it up for the younger cats, man? You fucking up for them. I'm like, yo, we really got Stockholm syndrome. I'm like, y'all niggas is really afraid of the NCAA. I had a conversation with Reggie Bush on my podcast, and he was like, I
Yeah,
gave them my Heisman Trophy back.
that was
Why the
powerful.
fuck would you?
Right,
Why the fuck would you give your Heisman back, dog?
right,
To who?
right,
Nigga, you won that. Fuck
right.
them.
And
They
made
ain't gonna
them,
come
and
take it.
made them niggas millions at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. They still owe you for that shit. And my
Right,
thing is like, they still making money off you from that shit. So
right,
my thing is
right.
like, dog, if Reggie Bush comes out and says, fuck it, I took money. If Vince Young comes out and say, fuck it, I took money. Peter Warwick Dunn, fucking all these cats, man, from every major college, because it all happened. I don't know if them niggas took money. I'm just guessing. If it went like it went for me, of course you took money, nigga.
Right.
If every single college, a superstar from every single college comes out and says, yeah, I took money. Yeah, I took money. Is the NCAA going to ban every single national championship going back to the 60s? No, nigga. They're going to change the rules.
Right.
But we have it in our head that what we did was illegal. It's not fucking illegal. You did a job and you got paid for your service.
That's right.
Fuck those people, man. But that's why I get mad at the ex-cats. There needs to be like I remember Desmond Howard, Gary Payton. Like them niggas calling me a snitch. They call me a snitch. I was like, bro, this ain't the drug game, nigga.
This ain't the streets. This ain't the streets.
It's you niggas is brainwashed, bro. Like I'm sitting here trying to get these young niggas paid health insurance, and you niggas talking about, oh, you snitching. Shut your. That's so ignorant. But like that's the mentality that the NCAA has created. You created you've created a system in which it's literally Stockholm syndrome, where you have made victims love the captor. You like it's wild. Like people, like I remember we was in the league, and that's one of the biggest things when you get to the league is like, yo, you bang for your college. And I used to be like, bro, I'm not banging for that plantation. They was like, oh, who Tennessee? Y'all lost today. I was like, y'all, nigga, I play on the same team as you do, nigga. I don't play for Tennessee no more. I was like, I'm not banging that plantation. Like I still to this day, it's cool that I went there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I made lifelong friends, and a lot of Tennessee fans get mad at me because I'm not like all gung-ho about Tennessee. And they're like, well, fuck you then. I'm like, well, cool, bro. But like, until the NCAA that is understands the transgressions that they are doing to these kids, and they're literally robbing them of their constitutional rights. This is wrong, and I'm not partaking in this shit. I'm sorry, nigga. It is what it is.
I seen your tweet the other day after Tennessee had got founded in recently in the news. Said they was putting cash in McDonald's bags and silly shit.
Isn't that funny,
man? Until all you scared to death Negroes say something, bro.
Yeah.
This gonna be what it is, man.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, dog, if every single one, right, I'd be like, we did that shit too. Oh, you're gonna ban everybody? No, you're not gonna ban everybody. What's gonna happen? They're gonna die. Let the NCAA be the NCAA. Let's get rid of those contracts that they have because they ain't gonna have no fucking body to play for them. We get our own league, right? We get our own organization and we play under that banner and then pay these motherfuckers. It's the silliest shit in the world.
And really, that is playing the equity and the long game. You know what I'm saying? You are literally gaining equity in a product that you are building, which you are rightfully deserving of. Yeah. And that's playing the long game. If you're talking about helping the younger cats, you're talking about helping your kids, your grandkids, and so on and so on and so on.
Yes, but you're helping change the system, dog.
Yes.
And that's what these niggas don't understand. It's like, yo, y'all are so hell-bent on bowing to the National Collegiate Athletics Association. When it's just, honestly, it's like 7, 8 white dudes in a fucking building making shit up.
Yeah.
The fucking founder of the NCAA, dog, when you do the history of this shit, it's fucking hilarious. The founder of the NCAA, the nigga who started this shit, who's dead now, he was like, yo, we had no idea how big this was going to get and all of these advertisements that were involved. Like, this is not sustainable. He said that. He said, this isn't sustainable. We're going to have to change. He said that. The founder of the shit. But they're upholding the shit because it's lying in their fucking pockets.
Yeah.
And and us as fucking players are still like, no, dog, you get money at the table, you snitch. Man, shut up, nigga. Like you niggas is so, like, I will say any opportunity is like, fuck the NCAA. Yeah, I took money, and I know a bunch of other niggas that did. I won't out them because I'm gonna let them do that shit. But like, nigga, that shit happens all the time. Yeah. There isn't a big school that don't do that. It doesn't happen.
And see, that goes back to what your original point was, which is, the culture of football is just literally a symptom of race relations in America, because what we're really talking about, the crux of it is, listen, man, in these guys' mind, for whatever reason, we don't agree with it, but for whatever reason, they feel like they got to do this shit to survive. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
are lying. They are
Yeah.
lying to themselves and afraid to really go against.
No. No. You're 100% right. It's not they lying to themselves, dog. There are less opportunities for our people in our communities. What are some of the real avenues? Real avenues for us to get up out of our circumstances are scholarships to college.
Yep.
And what is our best way? We don't have. I mean, this is literally directed to politics. So I say everything goes involved with each other, right? This is literally directed, correlated with politics. Is if you look at our communities, they're the most underfunded schools of any race.
Mm.
Our black communities are the most underfunded schools of any race. So
Yeah.
what is a real live opportunity to get out of that situation is an athletic scholarship.
Yep. Yep.
That's what we're good at. So what do we focus on? We focus on basketball. We focus on football. Why do we focus on those two? Because if you want to play tennis and you want to play golf, it costs money, and we don't have that. So we can't go. We can't go. It takes money to go play golf. It takes money to go play tennis, right? But basketball, football, there's a basketball goal in every neighborhood USA.
But check
There's football field everywhere.
But check this out. Even the culture of football and basketball is changing, where it's starting to become more of. It's starting to take money. It's starting to take a lot of money, which is really.
Why is that?
It's slowly. Yeah, exactly. It's slowly transitioning from these rags to riches stories, which is keeping these little dudes from the hood, giving these dudes opportunities to really make it to the to the league, and which is very much intentional as well.
And that's the broader issue. It's like that's why I bang for the shit, because it's like it's not just me saying, oh, I want to see these cats get paid, because if it comes down to it, I don't really like capitalism anyway. But this is a real avenue for cats to get up out of situations. If I didn't get a college scholarship, dog, there's no telling what I would have done. I don't know what I've done.
That's why I love The Wire. The Wire is the best show on TV ever.
I still ain't seen that shit, man.
Oh, you tripping?
Yeah, I know. I get it all the time. I get it all the time, my nigga. I get it all the time, my nigga.
Oh man, you tripping, man? You got to make that on your 2021 bucket list, bro. Like,
dog, I watched. Okay, I keep it a buck. I heard this shit for years. Everybody, yo, you gotta watch what's the greatest show of all time, and I'm like, all right, bet I get a shot. About 3 months when the pandemic started, I was like, I'm gonna finally spin The Wire, dog. That first episode was so horrible, nigga.
You can't judge it off that, bro.
I mean, I couldn't watch the next. I was like, yo, this shit felt like 2005, nigga. Niggas had baggy, niggas had the FUBU 05, the platinum FUBU on and shit.
Hey, it's so funny. Jamel Hill and Van Lathan, they had a podcast where they literally talked about every episode from The Wire. They literally talked about how it aged so bad optically because the visuals of the clothes and it was so terrible, bro, when you look back on it now. But again, man, it literally ties everything to politics from every level,
right?
From the streets to the justice system, to the education system, to the healthcare system, to big time politics, everything, man. So you know that's why I say that, man.